Titans Cam Ward addresses rivalry with Browns Shedeur Sanders. For those hoping to stir issues between the number 1 overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, Tennessee Titans quarterback Cam Ward, and 5th-round Cleveland Browns selection Shedeur Sanders, you won't find the former fueling that fire. Ward shared that not only is there no rivalry, but the two have kept up a friendship from when they worked out together with Virginia Tech Hokie Kieran Drones. "I don't have a rivalry with him. That's my boy. At the end of the day, this whole process, we thought me and him were going to be 1 and 2 the whole time. That's just always been our mindset. It didn't go that way, but just coming out of college, even to the draft, I thought he was one of the better quarterbacks in the draft as well," Ward said on Barstool Sports' Bussin' with the Boys podcast. As Drones shared, Sanders doesn't care what anyone says about him. "A lot of people got their own opinions about Shedeur, and they don't really know him," Drones said to Athlon Sports. "He doesn't care what people say. He's going to go out there and play football." The grown QB just said as much himself last week. Sanders has been the subject of QB beef during the Browns preseason as well. Some took comments from Dylan Gabriel during the team's second preseason matchup against the Philadelphia Eagles about entertainers and competitors as a shot at Sanders. Sanders didn't necessarily say it wasn't. He just doesn't care about any manufactured narrative at this point. "Honestly, I don't even think about anything. Words or anything, at this point, can't do anything to me. I know that God put the ability and power within me to not even think about nobody else's comments and not care. It is what it is. I spoke with him. He told me on the plane. He came up to me and was like, 'Nah, bro, that wasn't at you.' I see how they trying to spin it. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not tripping, regardless of whatever it was. Nobody's words or anything affects me," Sanders said last week. Sanders has no enemy in Ward or Gabriel. He may not have enemies at all. The podium lights felt small compared to the stadium lights, but Cam Ward knew how to make small things feel large. He leaned into the microphone like a man settling down to tell a story he'd been circling for weeks. Equal parts grin and grit, Tennessee drawl wrapped in the kind of calm that says, "I've thought about this." "You want rivalry?" he said, voice low enough that cameras leaned forward to catch it. "We got rivalry. But let's call it what it is, competition with consequences." The room laughed, relieved to find humor before the heat. Reporters, hungry for sparks, sharpened their pens. Social media would call it chest-thumping either way. But Cam wasn't here to stoke a bonfire. He was here to set the log. "There's a lot of talk about Shedeur," he continued, nodding, "because naming names is how legends get electricity. Kid's got pedigree, he's got flair, and yeah, he's been making plays that make folks stand up. Respect where respect's due." He paused. But respect ain't the same as fear. He told the story of a Friday night in training camp, a 2-minute drill, a blown assignment, a touchdown that came from sheer improvisation. "That's the Shedeur people see," Cam said. "The highlight reel stuff. What they don't see is what he pays for it. Every single throw like that, it's weight on your shoulders later in the pocket." There was a little showmanship to the line, the kind that made critics call him theatrical and teammates call him honest. When a reporter asked straight up if this was personal, Cam shook his head and smiled with both halves of his mouth. "Personal? Nah. Football is personal to all of us, but this isn't high school. I know Shedeur's story. I respect the story. My thing is this. Rivalry isn't about who's louder on social media. It's about who shows up when the scoreboard's ugly and the lights are cold." He spoke about the practicalities as if reciting a poem of survival. Timing windows, edge pressures, the way a pocket folds like origami when linebackers know the script. There was craft in his cadence. You don't intimidate a quarterback by tweeting at him. You do it by making him uncomfortable without letting him notice that he's uncomfortable. You be consistent. You be reliable. You play with that quiet hunger that doesn't need to be on a billboard. Cam's address didn't ignore flavor. He admitted to enjoying the theater, the chirps, the back and forth, because drama, he said, sharpens players. A rivalry is a mirror. It shows you what you are and what you're not. Shedeur brings the flash. We bring the follow-through. Together, we make each other better. There were moments when the rhetoric softened, like a guitar string that finds a new note. Cam talked about mentoring younger defenders, about taking a rookie aside after practice to explain how to bait a throw or set a trap. "Kids learn fast when they see better," he said. "If his arm gets better because our guys push him, I'm okay with that. It makes the wins more honest." The press conference closed with a flourish, a line that would be clipped and looped in highlight packages. Rivalry's not about destroying somebody's name, Cam said. It's about testing each other. We test them, they test us. If we both come out sharper, we did our jobs. If we both come out broken, well, then at least there was passion. The first game against the Browns arrived with a weather report and cigarette lighter sky. The stands hummed like a hive. He and Shedeur stood in different uniforms, two poles of the same storm. One textbook cool, the other electric charisma. On the field, the rivalry wasn't a narrative so much as choreography, feints and counters, subtle misdirections, and the raw honesty of bodies colliding on purpose. Cam found himself replaying that press room line during a tight fourth quarter when the Browns were knee-deep in a clock-stretching drive. Shedeur, eyes bright, jaw set, surveyed like a conductor. Cam's front did what Cam had promised. They fought for the pocket, closed lanes, and made throws harder than the announcers had prepared for. A strip sack later, both teams traded glances that acknowledged the currency of the league, earned respect. After the game, the handshake was long and not perfunctory. The cameras tried to squeeze history out of it, but what happened was simple. Two competitors, sweaty and breathing, offering the mutual nod of those who'd been tested together. "Good game," Cam said, like a sentence that contained a book. Shedeur smiled, not headline-eager, but genuine. "You made me earn it," he replied. The exchange would become a meme of its own. The clipped version for late-night laughs, the whole thing for the ones who understood weight. Back in the locker room, Cam popped open a bottle of water and shared the simplest kind of coaching. "Play like you know what you're worth," he told a younger teammate who'd been watching the interaction. But never let that worth become a reason to stop earning it. Rivalries, he'd decided, weren't fences to divide. They were ropes to test strength, pulleys to lift the standard higher. And in the quiet that follows the late-game adrenaline, Cam felt something he would only say to a select few. Rivalries that are built on respect last longer than any one highlight clip. They become the backbone of the season.